Hi everybody, welcome to 5 Minute Ministries. And today's little sin is another big one because it's something we all do. I do it, you do it, and it's just like gossip. It's complaining. Now we all complain. Now by definition, to complain is to express dissatisfaction or annoyance about a state of affairs or an event. Now, we all do this and there's no excuse for it. The Bible calls it a sin for a reason. But I want to tell you what I don't mean by complaining. First of all, I don't mean a short burst of expression of disappointment. And what I mean by that is when you tell your kids, we can't go to the park today because of this, that, or the other. And they go, "Aww." They're disappointed, but they're not complaining about it. They're not throwing a fit. They're not throwing a tantrum. They're just, I'm disappointed in that. We as adults do it as well. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not complaining. I don't mean an expression of frustration. If you read Mark chapter 9, verses 17 to 19, you will see Jesus expressing frustration as well when he says, "How long will I put up with you?" It's just a matter of, not this again. And I'm not talking about continual over and over and over, just a quick little, this is irritating to me. And I don't mean addressing a real problem. When you have a real problem to express and you need to tell your supervisor, your pastor, your spouse, your children, or whatever, say, "Hey, we need to talk about this and we need to resolve this." That's not complaining. What complaining is, and why it's a sin, is complaining, complaining becomes a sin when complaints are based on selfishness or self-pity. Exodus 15 and Exodus 16 will give you examples of that. The children of Israel were infamous for complaining. They were constantly feeling sorry for themselves. They were constantly saying, "What about us? Why didn't we just stay in Egypt? Why doesn't God do this? Why doesn't God do that? Moses, why aren't you doing this and that?" And we're constantly going, "What about me?" And we're complaining because we're not getting our way. Then we're sinning. Complaining is a sin when we are ungrateful, when we complain about the things we have or the things we don't have. When we're not satisfied, when we say, "I want more. I don't like my job, I don't like my car, I don't like my spouse, I don't like my family," and you constantly rile up on those things, and you're like, "This just isn't good enough." Complaining is a sin when complaints are constant or continual, when that's all you do. And sometimes it's about several things, and sometimes it's only about one. It's being unsatisfied. Nothing is ever good enough. No person is good enough. No thing is good enough. I want a bigger car, bigger house, more money. I want to go here. I want to go there. I don't want this food. I want that food. And you're just not satisfied, and you're ungrateful. Or if the mere mention of the thing that you complain about sets you off to complain more. Now that's when complaining is a sin. And let's face it, nobody likes to be around complainers. When that's all people do, that a person does, most of the time we avoid that person. So what do we do about it? First of all, we remember that others complain about us too. Matthew 7, 1-2, James 3, 1-2. We're not perfect either. There are people who will complain about us. That doesn't make it right for us to complain about others, but maybe we shouldn't give them reason if we can help it. Another thing we can do is to be grateful, Ephesians 5:20, and be content, Philippians 4:11-13. Be grateful for the things you have, and be satisfied with what God has already given you. If you're not satisfied with what you have, you will not be satisfied with the things that you get later. Another thing we can do is limit our voice on the subject. Don't let our annoyances and grievances become gossip, and don't let things go further than they need to. And I want to read the last one, Philippians 2:14-16, because this is very important. "Do all things without grumbling or disputing," or some translations say murmuring or complaining, "so that you will prove yourselves to be blameless and innocent, children of God above reproach in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation, among whom you appear as lights in the world, holding fast the word of life, so that in the day of Christ I will have reason to glory, because I did not run in vain, nor toil in vain." We don't complain, because when we do, it shows people that we are no different than anybody else. If you claim to know Jesus Christ as your Savior, you claim to be His child. If all you do is complain, it turns people away from God. So, well, how's God providing? You said God provides. How is He providing for you if all you do is run your mouth and complain about things? So when we are grateful and we're content and we're not complainers, and we show that we are grateful for what God has given us, we bring glory to Him. This has been 5 Minute Ministries, and I'll see you next time.